everyone, I'm Michaela Kathleen. Happy New Year's! Today I'm doing the New Year's book tag. So jumping right into this tag, the first prompt is midnight. What book kept you up all night? And I don't really stay up all night reading, but I do have fresh in my memory my rush to finish Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. The last chapter of this book is 30 pages, and there was one night where I just really wanted to get it done. And so I tried to read the last chapter while my boyfriend was cooking, and that just did not work out well. I kept getting distracted, and these final 30 pages took me forever. But the book was so good, and I really wanted to finish it, and the last chapter was just so long. So yeah, I don't know if that perfectly fits the prompt, but I'm going with Born a Crime. Prompt number 2 is fireworks. What was your favorite book this year? And I wanted to pick a new read, which this was mostly a new read. I'm going with the Three Dark Crowns series by Kendare Blake. I had read the first book before, but this year I finished the whole series. I reread the first book, which I love the first one so much. The series did not quite live up to the potential of the first book, but I still really enjoyed reading these this year. Prompt number 3 is New Year's Kiss. What was your favorite romance read this year? And for me, that is I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson, which this is a contemporary YA about these two twins who used to be very close but have drifted apart. So the book doesn't just deal with the romances, they're kind of a bit of a side plot. Actually, like one of the romances itself, I actually really kind of disliked the romance. But I don't read a lot of romance, so I felt like this was kind of the closest thing to romance that I read this year, that I really, really enjoyed the book, even if I didn't so much enjoy the romance that was in the book. If I were going just based on the romance, I probably would have gone with Me Before You by Jojo Moyes, but the book itself for Me Before You was just kind of meh, so I went with this one instead. Prompt number 4 is Countdown. What new release are you anticipating next year? And I'm not really anticipating any new releases next year, as far as I know. I have such a long TBR that I mostly read backlisted books, and there are very few authors that I really follow their new releases, and I don't think any of them have a book planned for next year as far as I know, so I don't really have any anticipated releases for next year. Prompt number 5 is resolutions. What genre would you like to read more of next year? And next year, much like last year, I would like to read more poetry. The only poetry I read this year, even though it was my goal to start getting into poetry last year, was selected poems of Emily Dickinson, which I did enjoy well enough, but I just didn't get around to any more poetry this year. I did, however, get to other fiction books that are told in verse. I just haven't gotten around to reading them, and those are The Poet X, which I bought with a gift card for Christmas last year, and Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds, which I just got for Christmas this year. So hopefully, maybe I'll get around to reading one of these this coming year, and maybe get some more poetry. I'm still not sure how much I'm really going to enjoy poetry. As I said, I enjoyed this one well enough, but it's just one poetry book and it's quite small. Prompt number 6 is Auld Lang Syne. What is a book that you reread so often it's practically a pastime? And for me, that is definitely The Last Book in the Universe by Rodman Philbrick. This is my most reread book on my shelves. It's quite short and it's my second favorite book of all time, so I reread it quite often. And finally, prompt number 7 is Ball Drop. What book do you recommend for people to read next year? And as I said, I mostly read backlisted books, so this one I think is 2 years old by now, but I just read it this year because it was Barnes & Noble's first ever book of the year, and it was a really fun, sweet read, and that is The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse by Charlie Mackesy. Again, it was just a really cute book. It's got adorable illustrations throughout, and it was just a really enjoyable read, so I would recommend anyone to read this for a little pick-me-up, and it's a very quick read. So that was it for the New Year's book tag. I hope you enjoyed watching. Let me know down below any of your reading resolutions for 2022. Thanks for watching. Remember, words matter.